So first of all, uh, thank you for inviting me to this session. My topic today is really about equality in hybrid meeting. And I myself drives a lot of the sales acceleration and partnering activity in Asia Pac. Now, for us, of course, that our company name is Poly. As you probably heard about us before, but really we came from two large industry veterans. One is Plantronics, one is Polycom. So Plantronics has been leading the headset industry for decades from 1960s. And of course, Polycom has been the leading innovator in voice and video for decades as well. Now, our mission really is to create a people technology space together and deliver the future work. As a matter of fact, our company was, the name Poly came out about 3 years ago in Enterprise Connect March 2019, when I actually just joined the company as part of the sort of founding group of the senior leadership team within Poly. Now, it's very interestingly, when we founded all this and we want to create the best possible devices for people to work from anywhere, and that was our vision. And what happened after that, of course, everyone knows we've gone through the 2 years of COVID. And what COVID did really is accelerate a lot of our vision to make almost real for us every day. I think a lot of the CIOs and a lot of leaders out there are talking about compressed transition, right? From we all know where we're going, flexible working, hybrid working. That's where the vision that's already been in the industry, for almost a decade. But really, the COVID made a radical transition for us to get there very quickly. Now, if you think about hybrid working, now there are three things that we believe is critical to have successful hybrid working. The first one is flexibility. You work from anywhere, right? So we all know that before COVID, most of people work from the office, right? So see your place working. Some of us do travel a lot, but reality is most of the workers, employees actually work in the office. During COVID, most of the people work from home, right? So only the critical workers are allowed to go to the office, factories, a hospital, and so on. But most of us, knowledge workers wise, they work from home. But reality is when we get out of the whole COVID lockdown situation, it's really flexible working, work from anywhere, right? And then it could be the third place as well. You can work from hotel, work from a cafe. Actually, a lot of us prefer to work from a cafe because office still closed, and then we actually don't want to work from home all the time. So we actually take our gear to the cafe and stay there for the whole day, right? Ease of use is fundamentally important. So Poly, as well as our partners out there with Microsoft Teams, with Zoom, and so on, to make this experience wonderful. So from our standpoint, it's the devices. When you plug all these devices into your laptop or your desktop, or you walk into a meeting room, you have your camera, you have microphone, you have the speakers, you have the touch control. How do you make everything consistent, easy for use, right? So this, of course, is in conjunction with our partner to deliver the consistent experience and ease of use. The third one is really the topic today. How do we make different users feel equal across the meeting table or the virtual meeting table? Because again, as I mentioned to you, when we start to have hybrid working, some of us going to work from home, some of us going to work from the third place, some of us going to be in the office. Now you think about, say within Philippines, right? You can have some offices already open, and some employee may be still at their home, and you want to connect to someone in Singapore or you want to connect to someone in Australia, then guess what? You always have some people going to be joining virtually, okay? And the idea there is that how do you make sure that people sitting at the real table can interact, can be heard, can be seen, can really contribute to the meetings, and yet people on the remote side, maybe they work from home, they also can be heard, can be seen, can contribute equally actively. So this is what we mean by meeting equality. Okay, so look, when we think about meeting quality, we already mentioned that it's going to be in the office and the personal, or at home, it can be third places. So we're going to really diverge into two key topics. One we call the individual or personal space, what meeting equality mean to them. And the second part is in the room space. So if you're in the meeting room, what does meeting equality mean to them? Okay, so let's start from the individuals. Right, so think about individuals, right? So we all know what happened before, what happened now, and what's happening in the future, hybrid working, right? So they can work from anywhere. And we know that on average, 3 hours, at least on average, 3 hours of this individual spending time interacting and doing productivity works, okay? That can be anywhere. So what are the pain points they're feeling today, right? So think about it. If you work from home, the biggest thing is background noise. Can't stress enough, right? So a lot of us don't have a nicely set up personal office with a locked door with nice acoustics and everything's fine. We don't, right? So therefore, you could be actually working from the kitchen. You have maybe your aircon, the fans making noises in the background. You can have your pets barking. You can have a dog barking in the background, and maybe you can have your kids, right, doing their homework or talking to each other, etc. So the amount of background noise, especially for the hybrid workers working from home or third place, is fundamentally distracting to yourself as well as to the remote audience. So this is one of the first things. The second one is video. So some interesting statistics, right? Before COVID, Microsoft Teams reported about 30% of the users turn on their video. So it's good to have, right? Someone just remembered, oh, let's turn on video, but 30% of the people. During COVID and today, we're talking about 70, 80%. Okay, why? Because, before COVID, people often see each other in the office. So therefore, the video connection, seeing people's expression and so on is important, but maybe good to have because you all see them every day to begin with, right? But on the other hand, during COVID, people don't see each other every day. So therefore, the need to have a visual communication is becoming fundamentally important. But that's also very interesting because if you're in the office, you have good lighting, you have wonderful, camera and everything, you will seem pretty good to the remote side because of lighting and etc. Right? But if you work from home, not everyone has great lighting. Okay, so for example, actually my room is not that bright, but I hope I come across bright and color looks vibrant and so on. Why? I'm using great video camera come from Poly. Okay, another thing interesting is framing, right? You all know that if you have using, for example, a laptop camera, you're pointing at your nose and so on. So there are a lot of things that I think individual employees are experiencing when they work from home, and that these little issues may not seem to be important while you only work from home maybe once every month. Now it's 2 days, 3 days a week. That becomes very important for them. So what are we going to do about it? So what we're going to do about it is provide meeting quality for individuals. We look at headset, camera, desk phones, and speaker phones. And that's what Poly provide experience for. So let's have a look at the first one, right? Premium audio. So that's why I'm wearing right now, right? A Focus UC2 with active noise cancellation for remote as well as local. So if I'm sitting in a noisy environment, for example, if I work from a shopping center, I can actually turn on the active noise cancellation, cancel out the shopping center noise. On the other hand, my microphone will cancel out all the surrounding noise for the people on the remote side as well. Okay, so this has been certified with Microsoft Open Office. And it's wonderful. I use that every day, right? That's exactly what I'm using right now. And you can't hear any background noise whatsoever. We also play, for example, the background sound with the water running, etc., to relax people. Then what we found is a lot of employees, when we work from home for a long time, it's a lot of stress, a lot of tolls on these employees when they work from home. Wonderful camera we're using right now, a Studio P5. I hope the video comes across great. Again, it's a small camera. You just can bring it anywhere and they can use it for work from home or work from any places. Great phones, we make. You can bring home because it's, you can connect to the internet. You can connect to your PBXs and or a Zoom, a voice or Teams voice. There you go. You can have native calling straight away from home as well. We'll also put antimicrobial coating on these phones. As you know, COVID, maybe you touch somewhere, you touch your phone, and you can pass the virus maybe from one person to another person. But that antimicrobial coating, what it does is to prevent this from happening, to reduce the probability of passing the virus along. So a lot of this technology we're putting there to provide a good meeting quality across different users. Now, on top of that is the support. If you really think about it, if I'm working from home and I'm using, say, a couple of really wonderful devices, and it's no longer a good to have, it's mission critical. Because imagine that if I'm using my headset every day and I rely on this to block out noise to have an effective meeting, now imagine that it's broken, right? And all of a sudden I have to use my laptop, microphone, and speaker to have a meeting and pick up all the noises, and a remote user will be saying, I can't hear you, right? Now the meeting is not effective. I can't hear you. Can you find an effective headset? So what do we do, right? So what Poly does is, together with our partners, we can provide 24/7 support. So as soon as, for example, your headset is broken, you click a button, you send an email, and it will give you advanced replacement. And you can get, within 24 hours, 48 hours, you get a new headset straight away. Same model, same made, and you can switch on straight away, and here you go, right? So that provides the business continuity, doesn't matter where you are, okay? Very, very powerful. Poly actually done a lot of research because the way we design product, we just don't make product as in they're cool and the new technology. We make product to fit into users' portfolios. What do they use it for? So in the latest research, we actually do this very often. Every 4 or 5 years, we actually do another research across the world, right? In Asia Pac region, we research, actually Philippines is part of the research, I believe. So Australia, New Zealand, China, India, Southeast Asia country like Singapore, Philippines, Japan, Korea. What we do is we sample the top companies across the world and ask them, hey, here's our definition of different type of users, right? Office communicator, office collaborator, and so on. And we ask them, what's the percentage of your employees in your company fits into this sort of persona, right? And then we ask them, okay, for this type of users, how much do they use the headset? How much do they use video? How much do they use desk phones? And what's the probability of having them, for example, mixed usage and where they're going to be using it? So why do we go such length to understand the user portfolio? 2 reasons. The first one is we all know that technology is great, but it's never going to be really effective unless we understand how the user will use it. So what we do, we publish this paper for the end users like yourself, the CIOs, and you can actually just have a look at our research and see how you would like to fit your employee base into this kind of different personas and how they're going to use it. On top of that, we actually can get you a consultation session with you as well, right? To provide some guidance on how we see can use the devices to help your employees to increase their productivities, to make the virtual working, hybrid working more effective, okay? And the second part is to actually use that to guide our R&D. Again, like I mentioned to you before, we don't just design product just because we think the tech is cool. I mean, of course, tech is always cool, but to me, it's what business problem does the tech solve, right? So this will guide us to solve the tech problems. So if I take the common samples, like Office Collaborator, for example, this is one of the highest percentage, 27%. If I then take the Flexible Worker, right? Out of these 2, we have almost 50% of the users fits into this category, right? Office Collaborator and Flexible Worker. Now, if you look at the sort of best combination of devices that they can use, we sort of summarize into these 3 things, what I call a typical personal workspace, okay? So it's almost exactly what I'm using right now, right? I'm using a Studio P5, which is a camera we released about a year ago, give you great low light performance, great color accuracy, and you can just plug into your laptop or plug into your desktop. You have great video for yourself, right? So, and it's very small, it's portable, right? It's the first piece to enhance the video experience. The second one, also what I'm using right now, the 4300 Voyager, okay? I will show you a little bit better later on why this device is so special, because this is one of the first sort of medium range Bluetooth headset certified with Microsoft OpenOffice. So what that means is that we're able to create a acoustic bubble for you. You can sit in a pretty crowded area. What that acoustic fence will create is a acoustic bubble such that will block out the noise outside the bubble. So you're able to really have a wonderful meeting without the other side being distracted by the noise on your side. It's a microphone tech, right? So it's very different to, for example, the consumer noise cancellation heads like Bose and so on. They do the local noise cancellation, which we also do, but the microphone noise cancellation is fundamentally different for enterprise users. Okay, the third one is Sync 20. I use that all the time when I, for example, bring this into a small meeting room to have a conference and plug into your PC, and it becomes your portable little meeting device. Okay, and it also has built-in battery, and that's very, very useful. As you know, that we are relying on mobile phone nowadays. Actually, in Australia, at the moment, if your mobile phone is not working, you can't even go to a restaurant to eat because you need to do a QR code checking if you are vaccinated. So very useful for your emergency use cases, right? To charge your phone just by using a speaker. I mentioned to you that the 4300 Voyager is very, very special because this is created with a acoustic fence in mind. Acoustic fans came from Polycom. Like I mentioned to you before, Poly came from Plantronics and Polycom. Now, the reason we bring these two companies together, that's why I was so excited when I joined the company about 3 years ago, was that both sides has very good technology and it's almost non-overlapping. So by bringing all these patents and all these technologies together, we can create something truly unique. So this is one of the first products we create with this technology came from Polycom, which is audio, video, and audio, then put into the headset, right? So of course, with advancements of the DSP, low power usage DSP chipset, with the extra microphone we can put into a little boom mic, and we can create now acoustic fans even on a little device like a headset. It used to be on a big video conferencing device only, okay? And we also put in the new Bluetooth 5 standard, give you 50-meter range, right? It used to be only 10 meters. We boost up the output within the dongle, etc. We can boost the range to 50 meters, 24 hours talk time. Look, this is a device I believe that anyone can use easily at home, in the third place, hotel, airport, and if you go back to the office, you sit in your desk, you can use as well. So this, so far has been one of the device flying off the shelf, and it's doing extremely well. Okay, so that's for the personal one. Now have a look at the groups. I will say the groups, of course, it refers to different rooms. In case you don't know, right, in Asia Pac, in terms of total number of rooms, we have more than 50% of the total meeting rooms in the world. Okay, more than US and EMEA combined. On top of that, we have so many large, medium, small size rooms, especially the small size rooms. There's so many of them. I think there's a wonderful opportunity because I mentioned to you before that video usage is going through the roof, right? Now imagine these employees are used to turn on their video, work from home, and then get this P5, which I'm talking to you from, and then now I want to go back to the office. And I found, hey, only one room has video conferencing, right? So a lot of my customer right now, when I talk to them, hey, have you been planning for the return to the office? That's the first thing they raise to me. They say, we're not 100% ready. We're planning and we want to build more meeting rooms. Why? Because every single employee, when they talk to them about, hey, what do you care about when you come back to the office? They talk about collaboration. They're talking about how I'm going to have a meeting if I'm still sitting on my desk using my camera. I want to sit in the meeting room and meet with a remote user, but your meeting room doesn't have video. Okay, so this to me is the number one thing. And believe me, almost every single CIO and IT manager been talking to, they've done surveys, they understand the employee actually do want to go back to the office, have personal interactions. Because we all know, relationships built by face-to-face. And then of course, once you have that relationship, you continue on with the collaboration remotely, right? So I would love to come to Philippines to do this presentation with you, but unfortunately the border is not open yet. Hopefully we can do it next time. But in the end of the day, personal communication is important. But if you look at the frustration and failures, and for the people work from home, right? So think about number of conference room with video, number of conference room with even proper audio. Think about, is it integrated with the Teams? Is it integrated with the Zoom? How do you choose between people and content? You don't have one screen. How do you get layout right to see people's PowerPoint or see people's face? There are a lot of things there because it's not easy, right? We all know that to get a meeting room right at the right cost is not easy. So how can Poly help? So we look at this as in meeting equality for groups, right? We look at the video, we look at the camera, we look at conference phones. Again, we look at services, even more important in this case. Now, the first one is what I call the very easy ones, right? If a individual salesperson do a sales call or visiting a customer, and you say, hey, I want to have a small device cover a meeting room maybe for 5, 6, 7 people, and I want something portable. You just need to bring a little device called Sync 40 or Sync 60. You bring this along, Sync 40 is battery powered, plug into your laptop or Bluetooth pair to your phone. You have wonderful sound to cover 5, 6, 7 people already. Okay, very easy, put in the bag, here you go, right? So this is the easiest to do, to use one. We have USB devices like Studio USB. Just again, plug into your laptop, you have video enabled room, you have audio enabled room with all the great technology I just talked about, right? Acoustic fans, video tracking and all that. So again, very easy to take, and the cost wise is very cost effective. When you start moving to Teams room and Zoom room, we have range of devices for that, right? We have Android powered, we have Windows powered, we have large room, small room, focus room, etc. So all these are really nicely laid out for you. It's really up to you to choose. And finally, of course, on the C60, we have the conferencing room, new generation conference room. You can either use in the Teams environment or Zoom environment, or just purely as the audio conferencing pickup device for your codec as well. Okay. Now, again, I just want to emphasize on the service again. Now, this service is even more important, as I said, right? Meeting room becomes absolutely critical for everyone. Now, the capability of our partner as well as Poly to be able to provide to you is a very quick turnaround troubleshooting to get things up and going again, replacement parts, if there's any things broken and we need to fix it straight away, right? So this is the amount of coverage we have Poly on the ground to help you to make sure their critical investment in the meeting rooms always up and running. Now, there's a couple of what I call technology breakthroughs I want to share with you, which is the total meeting equality for video. So think about it that way. When you're sitting in the meeting room, most of the time, you have a camera kind of covering the whole room, or you have a remote control, you zoom into a person. But if you have an interactive call, how do you track everyone, right? Another one, and an important aspect of this is you can have multiple people talking at the same time in the meeting room. As you know, it always happens. Now, if these employees are sitting at home, what happens from the remote side, you can see individual employees showing up, okay? But if they're sitting all in the room together, guess what? Only the whole room showed up. You don't know who's talking. You don't know, 2 people talking. Who are these 2 people talking? You don't know, right? You only heard them and you see the whole room. So the technology we brought up is called Poly Director AI. So this is the technology powering the Zoom Smart Gallery, the Microsoft People View, etc. Really what that is an AI engine with machine learning to detect who's talking. So I'll play a little bit of video, a very short clip to show you practically what does it look like. Here you go. As you can see, it's a very, very short clip. What that shows you two things. One is the camera feeds a room view as well as who are actively talking, okay? And that solves two problems. One is we know that what does whole room look like, how many people are in there. The second one is that we know who actually is talking during that time. Okay, and that information then get fed into Zoom, get fed into Microsoft. We're able to see who's interacting with whom. So these people seen in the meeting room has the same equal representation from a virtual meeting standpoint. If I'm sitting remote, I will see who actually talking to each other. Okay, this is very powerful. This is one of the first technology we put into new camera. I will show you later on. Okay. Oops. All right. So this is a camera we just released not a long time ago called E70. Okay. You can see that there are two lenses, 20 megapixel camera, one with wide angle lens, 120 degrees, one with narrow angle lens, 80 degrees, covers a large room up to sort of 10 meters, 25 feet to 30 feet, with microphone built-in, and a USB. You just can plug into a NOC. You can run this as a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting, right? Very powerful. So all the next generation camera we're designing will be able to do that as well. Okay, so this is one of the first one off the gate to be able to do that. So I hope you're impressed with our meeting quality for both personal as well as for the group, for the meeting rooms. But take a step back, right? Think about Poly as a company and what we try to do, I guess, to solve all your business requirement. So there are a couple of things, again, very, very exciting. That's why we are here to serve you. Number one is platform support. So we know that out there, on average, right, we have 83% of the companies using more than one platform. That means they could be standardized on Teams, but they also maybe use a little bit of Zoom, right? They could be standardized on Zoom. Maybe they still have some remaining, Cisco deployment there, right? They could be using BlueJeans, combination with RingCentral, etc., right? The reality is, very few customers out there have standardized on one and one only. Even they standardize on one and one only, what happens is they need to connect to other platforms. So let's say, company Bill, right, standardized on Microsoft Teams. Maybe you have to connect to company Ari, who is using Zoom, right? So inevitably, you have to connect to other platforms. For Poly, what we do is by starting of every single device we design, we always keep this in our mind, as in we support as many platforms as possible. So all the devices you've seen, for example, the Focus UC2 I'm wearing, the 4300, the Sync little speaker phones, the Studio X, what I was showing you before for video device, the E70 camera, etc., they're certified on Microsoft Teams. They're certified for Zoom, minimum. We also have RingCentral 8x8, GoToMeeting, Starleaf, etc., certified, BlueJeans, of course, all certified on our Studio X and the G7500 codecs. Okay, and we have devices cover, video, conferencing, desktop, and headset, and so on, right? On top of that, think about a single pane of glass. You can manage all these devices, as well as that you have single neck to choke. When I say if something goes wrong, you have our PGS team, our support team to help you out there together with our partners. So we believe that this is a fundamental differentiator for Poly to serve you out there, because we know that the cloud service is very fast. You can pick up something very quickly, deploy a little bit, and you use the other one, and we're there to help you regardless what choice of the platform you make. Finally, just to finish it off, we can use these devices for all different use cases in the workspace, right? Medium-sized room, large-sized room, open office. We have phones, we have desktop, we have headset, we have video camera, we have conference phones. You can also use for the home, etc. So we really have all the devices for all different use cases, and therefore Poly infrastructure like the MCUs, the RMX, and so on, you can use for Microsoft Teams. You can use Zoom for a lot of these platforms. So I hope this has been helpful to you. And again, to go back to the whole theme of this talk, equality, I believe that Poly, together with our partners out there, alliance partners, we can provide you true meeting quality regardless where you are. And I hope this can be a choice of your devices in the future. So with that, thank you very much.